If this video has reached you now, you can be absolutely sure that this is not a coincidence of the algorithm. There is a very specific moment in the life of a woman when everything changes inside, even if no one notices on the outside. You begin to get tired of what before accepted with ease and move away from what before made all the sense in the world. Carl Jung called this synchronicity. When the universe responds to a profound internal transformation with clear and direct external signs. If you are watching now, it's because you are entering your most powerful phase, even if it still seems like a big mess. This feeling of displacement you experience is not a sign that something is wrong with your mental health. On the contrary, it is the strongest indication that your soul is demanding a new level of truth and depth. Things that once seemed normal now begin to weigh on your shoulders, like unbearable burdens you long to release. Your heart has become more demanding, your mind sharper, and your tolerance for mediocrity has simply vanished. You are being prepared for something you cannot yet see, but which your spirit already recognizes as your destiny. Jung explained that the universe functions as a mirror of our psyche, sending exactly what we need at the right time. This content is a temporal marker in your individuation journey, the process of becoming who you truly are. Perhaps you have spent years trying to fit into molds that were never made to contain your immensity and strength. Now, the walls of those molds are cracking because your essence has expanded and no longer accepts being contained or limited. Feel this strength growing in your silence, for it is the seed of a sovereignty that no one can ever take away. The question I want to ask you now, to begin this journey of discovery, is very simple, but it requires courage. Have you ever felt that your presence affects the people around you, even when you do absolutely nothing different? Have you noticed that silence seems denser, and that your intuition is shouting truths that you've been trying to ignore until now? If the answer is yes, you are officially crossing the portal to your most powerful and authentic phase. Take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because this is your new refuge. Many women go through life without ever hearing that inner call for true and profound freedom of the soul. They remain asleep in conformity, living to please others and following scripts written by other people's hands. But you are different, and the fact that you are here is proof that your soul rejects mediocrity. Get ready, because in the next few minutes we will unveil how Jung would explain each symptom of this spiritual and psychological rebirth of yours. The universe chose you to receive this message today because it knows you are ready to wield your power. The beginning of this powerful transformation often manifests as a feeling of inner death that can be frightening. You feel that the woman you were yesterday no longer fits into the body of the woman you are today. Jung described this as the death of the old self, a necessary process for the new self to finally emerge. It's as if an old skin is peeling away, revealing something much more sensitive, yet infinitely stronger underneath. Don't try to hold on to the pieces of the past, for they are merely the ashes of what you used to believe to be the truth. This symbolic death brings with it a weariness that no amount of sleep seems capable of curing or fully alleviating. It's a weariness of the soul, an exhaustion caused by years of wearing a social mask that has become too small. You realize you've spent too much energy trying to be good, trying to be the perfect daughter, wife, or professional for everyone. Now, your body is revealing the lie and demanding that you stop acting in the theater of others' expectations. This weariness is not a flaw. It's a defense mechanism of your spirit to force you to stop. Many women panic at this stage, thinking they are losing their sparkle or joy of living. In reality, you are only losing what was artificial and what did not belong to your deepest essence. Jung stated that no one achieves enlightenment by imagining figures of light, but rather by making the darkness conscious and integrated. You are descending into your own basement to rescue the treasures that were hidden during your childhood and youth. Feel the pain of loss, but know that it is the necessary fertilizer for the blossoming of your new and powerful consciousness. The universe begins to remove people from your life abruptly, sometimes even painfully. Friendships of decades seem to become empty, and conversations that were once fun now become superficial and even irritating. This happens because your vibrational frequency has changed, and you no longer resonate with gossip or complaining. Jung called this disidentification with the collective, a crucial step for those seeking their own sovereignty and truth. Don't cry over the departures, for they are making room for the soul connections that are to come. Have you noticed that you're losing interest in proving your worth to people who don't understand you? Have you realized that the opinions of others have started to sound like background noise that no longer has power? If so, you are killing the need for external validation and giving life to your own internal and sovereign authority. Comment below, "I am being reborn," if you feel that your old self is finally leaving forever. The next step in this journey is understanding how the mask you've worn until now has begun to suffocate you. Jung used the term persona to describe the social mask we all use to interact with the outside world. For a woman entering her powerful phase, this mask begins to feel tight, like a shoe that's too small. You find yourself smiling at meetings or dinners, while, inside, you feel an immense urge to shout your truth. The persona, which once protected you, has now become a suffocating prison that prevents your soul from breathing. The conflict between who you show yourself to be and who you really are becomes unbearable in everyday life. This mask was built on the no's you swallowed and the yeses you said out of pure fear. It's made of excessive politeness, convenient silences, and a relentless pursuit of approval from authority figures. However, the powerful phase demands the integration of truth, which means the mask needs to be removed or broken. You begin to feel a deep irritation with people who act falsely or who live on superficial appearances. It's your shadow demanding space so that your true light can shine without the filters of social hypocrisy. To stifle your essence in the name of external harmony is what Jung considered one of the greatest crimes against the psyche. When you try to keep your persona intact, your body begins to send warning signals such as anxiety or unexplained pains. The universe is sending you this video to tell you that you no longer need to carry this weight to be loved. The truly powerful phase begins when you decide that you prefer to be hated for who you are than loved for a mask. The freedom to be imperfect is the first great step towards becoming a truly sovereign and free woman. You will begin to notice that your speech is becoming more direct and that you no longer feel the need to explain. The powerful woman doesn't apologize for taking up space or for having opinions that diverge from the common sense of the masses. She understands that her persona must serve herself and not the other way around, as was the case in previous years. This crumbling of the social mask is what allows her intuition to become the main compass of her life. Prepare for the bewilderment of others as they have lost control over the image you projected onto them. Have you ever felt like a fraud in environments where everyone praises you because you know that's not your truth? Have you ever felt a sudden urge to abandon everything and simply be yourself without scripts or expectations of perfection? If the answer is yes, your persona is collapsing to give way to your real and divine face of power. Leave a like if you also feel that your social mask no longer serves you at all. In the next chapter, we will understand why isolation has become a sacred tool of reconstruction for you. The universe has a very specific way of preparing the most powerful women. It isolates them from the noise of the world. Jung explained that solitude is the laboratory of the soul. the only place where dialogue with the self can take place. Perhaps you have felt lonely lately, even surrounded by people, or have lost interest in social events. Don't see this as sad loneliness, but as a sacred invitation to rebuild your own inner identity. The universe is silencing external voices so that you can finally hear your own inner voice. During this period of isolation, you are forced to confront your fears, your pain, and your deepest shadows. There are no more distractions, no one left to blame, and nowhere left to run from your truth. It's a process of refinement, where what is false is removed, so that the diamond of your essence may shine. Jung said that isolation is a necessary retreat for those who wish to achieve spiritual maturity and psychic autonomy. You are in a cocoon, and although it seems cramped and dark, it is there that your wings are being formed. Often, this isolation is accompanied by a feeling of incomprehension from family and close friends. They may say you're strange, difficult, or that you've become a very antisocial and cold person. However, this apparent coldness is simply your energy turning inward to perform deep soul maintenance. You are recalibrating your values and understanding that your company is too valuable to be wasted on emptiness. Learn to inhabit your own silence, for it is there that great insights about your power will emerge. Rebuilding the self requires you to examine each brick of your history and decide what should remain in the new construction. You will discover that many of your dreams were not your own, but rather projections of your parents or society. A woman's powerful phase is born from the courage to discard what is not authentic, even if it costs dearly. You are becoming your own mother, your own father, and your own spiritual and mental guide. The universe isolated you because it knows you are strong enough to rebuild yourself from the ashes. Have you ever noticed that you prefer your own company to being in conversations that don't add anything to your mind? Have you ever felt that the silence of your room is where you feel safest and most connected to the divine? If so, you are experiencing the sacred isolation that Jung described as the beginning of true and profound individuation. Share this video with a friend who is also going through this phase of inexplicable solitude right now. In the next chapter, we will talk about how your intuition is becoming an energetic X-ray tool. As you enter your most powerful phase, your intuition ceases to be a guess and becomes a command. Jung believed that intuition is one of the 4 fundamental psychological functions that connect us with the collective unconscious and with truth. You begin to perceive people's energy and intentions even before they open their mouths to say anything. It's as if you've acquired a spiritual X-ray that sees through lies, manipulations, and the shadows of others. This heightened perception is one of the clearest signs that you are no longer the same person. Superficiality, which was once merely boring, now becomes a true poison for your emotional and mental well-being. You can no longer hold empty conversations about the weather, luxury brands, or other people's lives. Your soul seeks substance, truth, and connections that make your spirit vibrate at a higher frequency. Jung said that the soul seeks meaning, and when a woman awakens, she loses patience with everything that is hollow. You have become a detector of human falsehood, and this can be a little isolating at first. This rejection of falsehood also extends to how you consume information, products, and even romantic relationships. You begin to notice repetitive behavioral patterns and the masks people use to try to seduce or deceive you. A powerful woman is not one who is never deceived, but one who perceives the deception in the first second and chooses not to play the game. Your intuition is your most advanced defense system, protecting your time and your sacred energy. Trust what you feel in your gut, because it never lies to your awakened consciousness. For Jung, intuition was the ability to see the possibilities and truths hidden behind physical appearances. You are learning to read what is not said and to hear what is hidden in the silence between the lines. This gives you a strategic advantage in life as you stop wasting time on situations that you already know will not prosper. Your powerful phase requires you to be selective about what enters your personal and intimate energy field. If you feel your intuition is guiding you down new paths right now, subscribe to the channel so we can continue growing. Have you ever felt immediate physical discomfort upon entering a place or meeting someone everyone says is wonderful? Have you noticed that your first impression of people often proves correct months or years after that encounter? If so, your intuitive X-ray is fully active and ready to guide you in this new phase of absolute power. Comment below, "I trust my intuition," to seal this commitment to your inner truth today. In the next chapter, we will understand the archetypal transition from maiden to sovereign woman and queen. One of the most profound transformations Jung described is the shift in archetypes that govern a woman's behavior and psyche. In youth, many of us live under the archetype of the maiden, the one who seeks to be accepted, protected, and loved by others. The maiden is reactive, waiting for the prince, for the validation of the boss, or for the family's permission to be happy and complete. However, a woman's most powerful phase marks the birth of the archetype of the queen or the sovereign. The sovereign does not seek approval. She issues her own law and governs her inner kingdom with clarity. The maiden's transition to the sovereign is marked by the end of the need to be nice to guarantee external peace. You realize that peace that costs your dignity is a lie, and that necessary conflict is better than false harmony. The sovereign understands that her time is her most precious resource and that she owes no explanations about how she chooses to use it. She stops asking permission to shine, to change careers, or to end relationships that no longer serve her. This new archetype provides an emotional backbone that keeps you upright in the face of any social storm. For Jung, archetypes are universal patterns that shape our experience and behavior in life situations. When you embody the queen, you stop seeing others as superior or as holders of your happiness and fortune. You take full responsibility for your life and stop blaming the past, your parents, or the system for your problems. The sovereign is the one who integrates her masculine and feminine strength in a dynamic and extremely powerful balance. She is gentle when she wants to be, but relentless when she needs to defend her truth and her sacred boundaries. Many people around you will find this change strange and will try to pull you back into the role of the dependent maiden. They will use guilt, emotional blackmail, or even contempt to try to make you feel that you are being selfish. However, sovereignty is not selfishness. It is self-respect elevated to the highest degree of spiritual and psychological awareness. The powerful woman knows that she can only help the world if she is whole and in command of her own ship. This archetypal transition is what gives you the courage to face your own shadow and the collective shadow. Have you ever felt an inner force telling you that you no longer need anyone's validation to make your decisions? Have you noticed that you've stopped asking, "What will they think?" and started asking, "What do I really want now?" If so, the sovereign has awakened within you and is ready to govern your powerful new reality. Leave a like if you feel the sovereign is taking the throne of your mind and heart. In the next chapter, we will talk about integrating the shadow and the courage to use your anger constructively. Most women have been taught to repress anger and to consider this emotion as something ugly, dangerous, or unfeminine. However, Jung taught that repressed anger goes to the shadow and ends up draining our vital energy and creativity. When you enter your powerful phase, your shadow emerges, demanding that you use this energy to establish clear boundaries. Integrated anger is not explosive or destructive. It is a protective force that says, "You shall not pass this far." Integrating the shadow is what gives you the courage to be bad when the situation demands integrity. Often, your power phase begins with an explosion of boundaries that you should have set years ago in your life. You stop accepting crumbs of attention and stop allowing people to invade your space without your permission. This courage to displease is the fuel that powers your new and powerful version of a conscious and awakened woman. Jung said that totality includes good and evil, light and darkness, and you need both to be complete. The woman who is afraid of her own shadow will never be truly powerful or free from external manipulation. Integrating the shadow also gives you back access to your most forbidden desires and buried ambitions. You stop apologizing for wanting money, for wanting success, for wanting pleasure, or for simply wanting to be left alone. The powerful phase is when you stop living in black and white and start living in vibrant colors. The integrated shadow gives you a sense of reality that people who only live in the good girl persona will never have. You become a dangerous woman to the system because you can no longer be easily controlled by fear or guilt. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love that Jung considered essential for the process of individuation and psychological maturity. Every time you consciously say no to what drains you, you say a powerful yes to your essence and strength. The powerful phase is marked by an emotional cleansing where you remove from your garden everything that is suffocating your growth. Don't be afraid of your anger. Listen to what it's trying to protect you from and use that energy to build your kingdom. Power without limits is just vulnerability in disguise, but power with limits is real and divine authority. Have you ever felt a sudden courage to speak your mind, even knowing it might cause temporary discomfort to others? Have you noticed that you stopped swallowing your pride and started calmly putting people in their place with an almost unsettling composure? If so, you are integrating your shadow self and reclaiming the power that was stolen from you by years of social conditioning. Share this video with a woman who urgently needs to learn to say no and set clear boundaries today. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the definitive death of the need for external validation in your life. One of the most liberating signs that you've entered your powerful phase is when you stop living for the eyes of others. Jung explained that the search for external validation is a form of ego enslavement that keeps us trapped in psychological childhood. When you awaken, you realize that the only approval that truly matters is the one that comes from your own inner tribunal. You stop posting to impress, speaking to be praised, and acting to be accepted in empty groups. Your happiness ceases to be a public event and becomes an intimate and profound experience. This autonomy of being brings a peace that the world cannot understand, much less offer through material achievements. You feel at home in your own skin, regardless of who is around you or what people say. The powerful woman understands that she is the source of her own light and that she doesn't need external mirrors to shine. Jung called this state of maturity independence from the object, where your value doesn't depend on what you possess or who you know. You are your own point of reference, your own North Star, and your own measure of success and joy. At this stage, criticism loses its power to bring you down, and praise loses its power to inflate you or manipulate you emotionally. You receive both with the same serenity, knowing that they say more about the person giving them than about who you really are. This emotional immunity is what allows you to make risky decisions and follow paths that no one else understands or supports. Absolute sovereignty is born from the certainty that even if the whole world turns its back on you, you will still have yourself. And for the woman who has encountered Jung's self, this company is more than enough to be happy. The death of external validation opens space for authentic creativity that doesn't seek immediate results or fleeting empty fame. You start doing things for pure pleasure, out of curiosity and love for the journey, without the pressure of having to prove anything to anyone. This lightness paradoxically attracts opportunities and people who truly resonate with your new, powerful, and vibrant frequency. The universe stops sending you tests of neediness and starts sending you gifts of real, spiritual, and material abundance. Autonomy is the ultimate reward for those who had the courage to cross the desert of sacred isolation. Have you ever felt immense tranquility upon realizing you no longer care whether so-and-so approves of your new lifestyle? Have you noticed that social media has lost its appeal and that you prefer to live real moments rather than post false appearances for others? If so, external validation has died within you, and your phase of sovereign power has reached a new and elevated level of consciousness. Leave a like if you too have chosen to be true to yourself instead of being true to the world's expectations. In the next chapter, we will understand how synchronicities intensify to guide you on the right path. As you align yourself with your inner power, the universe begins to conspire in your favor in ways that seem magical. Jung deeply studied synchronicities and concluded that they are the language of the universe guiding us towards our wholeness. The right people appear out of nowhere, books fall from the shelf, opportunities arise in casual conversations, and everything seems to flow with divine precision. These meaningful coincidences are proof that you are no longer fighting against the tide, but navigating the flow of life. The universe is telling you, yes, this is the way, keep walking with confidence. Often, synchronicity appears in the form of a no that protects you from a path that would lead you back to the mediocrity of the past. You might lose a job or a relationship, only to discover days later that something infinitely better was waiting for you. The powerful woman learns to read these signs and not suffer from losses that are, in fact, strategic deliverances from fate. She trusts that the universe has a macroscopic view of her life and that it is clearing the road for her new brilliance. Pay attention to the details because the divine speaks whispering in the small events of your current daily life. The intensity of synchronicities increases as you increase your commitment to your own truth and soul integrity. If you start lying to yourself or trying to please others again, the flow stops and confusion reigns once more. Jung believed that synchronicity is a phenomenon of connection between mind and matter, a bridge between the visible and the invisible. When you are in your powerful phase, you become a master of this communication with the quantum field of infinite possibilities and realities. You stop forcing things and begin to allow them to happen in nature's own time. These signs also serve to confirm that your intuition is correct when you decide to distance yourself from something or someone. The universe often sends a direct message, a dream or an encounter that reinforces what your gut was already feeling. The powerful phase is one in which you live in constant dialogue with the intelligence that governs all things and beings. You will never again feel alone or lost, because you will know that the map is being drawn with each step you take with faith. Synchronicity is the universe's embrace of the woman who had the courage to become herself today. Have you ever had the experience of thinking about something and minutes later seeing it manifest or being mentioned by a stranger on the street? Have you ever felt that the universe sent you a specific message through a song or a movie scene at the exact moment? If so, synchronicities are guiding you and confirming that you are officially in your most powerful and awakened phase. Comment below. The universe speaks to me to strengthen this sacred and powerful connection with your destiny now. In the last chapter, we will talk about the final test of the past and your great shift in consciousness. Every great transformation requires a final test, a moment when the past tries to pull you back to the comfort of your old prison. It could be a former partner reappearing asking for forgiveness, a job offer that demands you sell your soul, or a family crisis. Jung explained that these tests serve to consolidate your new self and prove that you have truly changed your vibrational and mental level. The final test is not to punish you, but to give you the certainty that you are no longer that maiden seeking approval. Resist the temptation to return to what is known, but which you know no longer serves you. The turning point happens when you realize that the power was never outside of you, but was always hidden beneath layers of fear and social lies. You understand that you are not broken or crazy, but that you are simply being reborn into your most glorious and sovereign version of a woman. That initial confusion you felt now transforms into a sharp clarity and a determination that nothing can shake. You look back and see that every pain and every isolation were necessary steps to the throne you now occupy. Life finally begins to make sense in the light of your new and powerful integrated consciousness. A woman's powerful phase is a sacred event that impacts not only her life, but the lives of everyone around her today. You become a silent example that it is possible to be free, to be authentic, and to live with soul. Your rebirth is proof that Jungian psychology is a real map to human freedom and divine happiness. Don't be afraid to shine with all your intensity, for your light now serves to guide those who are still in the dark. You are the architect of your new reality, and the universe is celebrating your arrival at its center. This video was just a sign on your path to confirm what you were already feeling deep within your own soul. You are not alone. There is a legion of powerful women awakening around the world at this very historical moment in humanity. Together, we are reclaiming the sacred feminine and the wisdom of the archetypes that have been forgotten for centuries through repression and fear. Continue walking towards your wholeness, integrate your shadow, trust your intuition, and rule your kingdom with love. Your power has always been there. It has only waited for you to be ready to receive it with honor. In closing, I want you to understand that this is just the beginning of your most incredible journey, full of spiritual discoveries. You will never return to the cocoon, because the taste of freedom is too sweet to be forgotten by any soul that has ever flown. If this video touched your heart and confirmed your powerful phase, subscribe to the channel and comment, "I have awakened to my power." Share this message with other women, because when one of us awakens, the entire universe becomes a much brighter place. Until our next encounter in the depths of the human soul and the eternal wisdom of Jung,